Hello and welcome to the Unofficial Controller Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast, episode 120. Suicide Squad Gotham Knights reveal reaction with me, George, and as always joined by Tom, Gotham Knight, to my Metropolis menace. How's it going?
I'm very well. Are you okay?
Feeling very Metropolis-y menacey, really, but other than that, I think we're doing okay.
The bat would always win. Sorry,
the bat.
Yeah. The bat versus the Boy Scout is...
The bat can kill a god, can he? Not going to happen.
He can.
Right, okay, pal. No worries. We'll chalk that down to one of your weird fantasies. No one can kill Kyle. No one. Anyway, before we get lost in the trenches on that bad boy, quickly in the show, we've got coming up some news in there. Nintendo ought to let Suda 51 into their back catalogue because something might end up happening, because right now nothing is. And then we've got the feature, which is the Suicide Squad Gotham Knights reaction. Then the real deal, the man himself rips down the drive, the Stingray, with the latest new releases, so we can let you know what's coming out this gaming week. And then the show ends when I ask Tom what he's hoping to play. But before I ask him what he's been playing, Tom, I do believe you've decided to pen yourself a small atlas, a guide, so to speak, as to the roadmap of what's coming up in Series 3, because this is Series 3, episode, I don't know, 2. There's something like that. But we don't do that. We just call it episode 120 Series 3 because we like that. We like to stack them up high. So they've all sat there, ears pricked. Tom, before we dive into the roadmap, should we take a moment to thank them? Because last week we went live for the first time. We used Stingray, our rather ill-gotten colleague, to get us the cameras and recording equipment. That ended up with me looking like a Lego collage and Tom being hid behind a rather oversized mic for most of the episode, much to the fans' dismay. If you haven't seen that, it's still on YouTube. If you're not keen on seeing the video star that killed the radio star, then we're available still, as is the live show, still available in its audio format. I thought that I'd hit the mic and press buttons under the desk for the audio version. It's not. It sounds perfect. So
it does, yeah.
Thank you to everyone that watched. Thank you to everyone that joined us live. Thank you to everyone that's going to go watch it now and retrospectively think, that was a good time. I'm going to subscribe to these boys. They're amazing. Well, they're slightly above average anyway. And just genuinely, from the bottom of our hearts, really thank you. You guys made the night, and the subsequent views we've had there and the downloads of the show have proven that we are more popular than Pol Pot. Yeah. I'm not going to go any further than that. I'm just going to say Pol Pot. So now with their anticipation heightened, Tom, over to you. The baton's been passed. Don't drop it. What's the roadmap for Series 3 looking like?
Well, to start with next week, the 28th of October, we've got our annual Halloween show. But this one's going to be a bit different. It's going to be a live stream. The
inevitable Halloween special 03.
Yeah. So we're going to live stream again. Just to let you know, the video live streams are going to be few and far between. We're an audio podcast mainly. So these are just a bit of fun on special occasions or events. So we've also laid our hands on some better recording equipment. Probably something more in the lines of Egon Spengler would create rather than, I don't know.
Backroad bandit of Lincolnshire shifting old PA equipment that he's found from an abandoned village hall in the middle of nowhere. It was never going to end well, was it?
Ray's Rentals let us down a bit with the video quality, so apologies, but most of you sound like you had fun. So 28th of October, streaming 7:30 or 8 o'clock. We haven't quite decided yet. We're going to be live streaming the Halloween show. The feature is going to be, so listen up carefully. If you could make a horror film into a game, which horror film would it be? We know we've seen a few crossovers from Halloween films or horror films into the video game world, but which ones that haven't been done would you like to see? We've got some interesting ideas of our own, which we'll share with you. But yeah, that's going to be the Halloween show. The week after that, November 4th, George has got an interview lined up with someone. He may reveal that later, but yeah, it's
We're waiting on
George
approval.
interviewing.
We're waiting on approval.
George doing his best Parkinson impression.
Well, no, surely the interviewer's doing their Parkinson, and I'm just being George Best.
That's probably how it'll play out. November the 11th.
Yeah.
November the 11th, we've got a new series we're going to be sort of trying to take a look at is Games of a Generation series. We're going to be doing a bit of a deep dive into Grand Theft Auto 3, which is celebrating 20 years of since its release.
I feel like that is going to be a swing right back into the wheelhouse because we're pretty much out of history ofs. And we try to stretch it across different genres. It probably didn't quite stick because we did Capcom. Still owe you the end to that. And we will bring that to you at some point in time. But we feel like...
Well, you know what? You know who else is celebrating an anniversary this year?
Who's that?
The Big X. So November 18th, we're going to be bringing a Xbox celebration special where we want to hear from you. We know we've got a lot of Xbox fans. Xbox or Microsoft are celebrating themselves with a special event. So we thought we'd basically piggyback off that, get a load of you guys, your favorite memories of all the Xbox generations, what you think they brought to the table, favorite games on those consoles, what you're looking forward to in the future from the brand. Yeah, just celebrating everything Xbox, really.
Excellent. And if you can't wait for that, we have got the history of the original Xbox for you guys to check out. Gave that a pump earlier this week, and it's done rip-roaringly well again. So I honestly believe history of the original Xbox has got everything in it to be a great show. Your arrest, Bobby's confusion and excitement and finding me on a live stream on the floor and then jumping on board as the co-host. The actual feature, the history of the original Xbox, we go back in time to the launch at Times Square and actually have an interview with people around at the time. We have The Rock on the episode as well. I mean, what more could someone actually want from a history of the original Xbox? I thoroughly enjoyed that show. We were there live, Times Square. It was just fun. It was just a great fun show. So if anyone wants to see what we're about, they probably should check that out. What's coming up after that then, Tom?
That's about rounded up for sort of 4 weeks worth of shows. We're trying to plan a bit more ahead so we can be more organised, keep the show a little bit more on the straight and narrow. But we love to hear back any feedback you have about the topics or the features, any ideas. I know there was an idea you showed me from, I believe, the Discord, where the game you play along with the Discord of that month or week.
That's right. Yeah, obviously, Retro Gamer Thomas and the boys, they all organise a game of the month, like a more modern one and a retro one, and then people play along through those and then post up their thoughts and screenshots and opinions of the game, whether it's aged, are they enjoying it, are they having fun. I think we've done Tomb Raider Legend, Metal Gear Solid. There's been a whole smattering of games in there that have been really quite enjoyable. Caused me to sort of dust off. I think I played the PSP version of Tomb Raider because I was away with work at the time. But do you know what? There's plenty there for everybody. And there's always a bit of a thing going around. Is this week, do you want to do Xbox this week, or do you want to do, or this month, or do you want to do like a PlayStation game? And it's normally organized, and they try and make sure the retro game is available to download on a modern machine as well, just so everyone gets a chance to be involved, because not everyone's a retro gamer. Maybe not everyone's a modern gamer. And this show likes to encompass everybody. Hey, do you know what? I'm even a cut the rope gamer, and that to me is our target audience. There is no better game than Cut the Rope, apart from Cut the Rope 2.
I mean, I'd like to incorporate that into a feature and do something about it. We've just got to figure out how to do that and make it. No, the feature about the game you're playing or the deep dive on that actual game.
Ah,
So yeah, we need to just have a think about how we're going to do that and how we're going to present it.
it's a cracking idea. It's just how we
I know
incorporate that into the rolling period.
I know we seem a bit Mickey Mouse sometimes, but there is actually a lot of effort goes into the show. George with his audio and me trying to come up with ideas for the features and stuff.
Well,
Sometimes it's not easy.
I wouldn't put the audio up there as a high quality.
No,
I would say though
we got stiffed a little bit with the theft of the audio equipment, and
we did.
We've been on the ropes for a little bit ever since, but I think overall it's pretty good. I'm looking forward to next week with seeing us in HD. If you want to hurt your eyes even more,
if you're struggling with the Stingray bringing up the goods, get out the Ponsonbury wallet and get in a company that knows exactly how to make these things happen. Simple. You know what? Halloween will be amazing.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Do you like video games, podcasts, and reminiscing? I'm actor, video game writer, and total sweetie pie Connor Savage McCabe, and on each episode of Call Me By Your Game, I sit down with a guest for an intimate look at a special game from their past. Did you and your dad beat Spyro the Dragon over the holidays? Or was Halo 4 the one thing that united your roommates during your senior year of college? Stories like these are what Call Me By Your Game is about. From video game content creator Janet Garcia to Hades voice actor Courtney Vinay's, I interview wonderful comedians and game industry friends about these memories. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts, and maybe someday you'll call me by your game.
And if anyone's listening who does audio and visual stuff, please hit us up and offer any advice. We'd love to hear from you. We've been rookies at this straight from the start, and we've kind of learned as we've gone along. So we hope you stick with us, as most of the hardcore fans have. Anyway, I think we better get back to the what have I been playing, which I'm going to keep it very short and sweet. Not a great deal this week. I've been very busy. I've played a little bit of Last of Us Part 2 again. It's a hard game to get back into because I think the controls are really good, but it's a bit like God of War and some of the other Sony first-party titles. When you don't play them for a while, it's a little bit difficult to get back into.
I find that the controller extensions, when you first play, it's this to shoot, it's that to that, it's that, and it's simple.
Yeah.
But the further you get into it, I call them controller extensions. I don't know what the actual term is, but when you're 1, 2 buttons deep or a controller input and something else, maybe the crafting wheel or whatever it is. Yeah. They don't have a crafting wheel specifically in there, but they have a crafting tab. It's the controller extensions that aren't necessarily obvious to you when you pick the game back up again that hold those games back sometimes for me. You're right.
Yeah,
you are
agreed.
Right.
I think the weapon selection on Last of Us Part 2, especially as you say, further you get into the game, you get more weapons and it becomes a little bit more difficult to navigate that menu. But a small criticism for a very good game. Looks great in the 60
It's something
FPS.
that affects all consoles, I think, because the controller's got only a finite amount of buttons. It's not a keyboard. Obviously, this is where the Master Race come in with their QWERTY keyboards, and they've got a million keys for everything.
Yeah,
to make that work on a. It's the worst place probably for controller extensions is Farming Simulator.
I bet. Yeah,
there's lots on there, and it's like, oh, how do I lower the boom of this? I don't know. Anyway, tell me more about what else you've been playing. Last of Us 2, I came and I saw you playing that. Seemed like you're having a great time.
You did. I just saw your face at the window peering through.
Well, I came round your side of the estate and thought, what's that little cretin up to?
I think you were disappointed I was not actually doing any gardening at that point and keeping your grounds clear and free of rubbish and the horrible graffiti some of the local residents have been spraying. But How Let Loose, I've been playing a bit more of that. It's quite enjoyable. Very tough game. Convinced a few friends to give it a try as well, and they, after persevering with it, they seem to enjoy it. But yeah, I'm ready for a new game, I think. I've obviously wrapped up with Deathloop and finished that. Done about all the canon Hades. I still need to try and get the epilogue ending, but it seems to be taking a bit of time. But yeah, I'm ready for a new game. So how about you? What have you been playing?
Stop the press. I've been playing Alan Wake Remastered.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. got some time on the PS5. Been playing that. I'm probably on the second or third chapter. Now, let me just rewind a little minute. For me, Alan Wake was probably one of my favorite 360 exclusives. Everything about it hit right for me. The music choices, the look, the Twin Peaks like esque vibe, of the whole thing. I thoroughly enjoyed. So when the remaster was announced, I was obviously excited, and I'm all in. And for the most part, I'm not disappointed. Though the game feels like a game of its time. The jump button feels a bit weird. Some of the navigation of obstacles feels a bit weird due to the jump. I don't know. Probably it didn't seem like an issue back in the day, but compared to more modern, slick, over-animated games, Alan Wake at times looks a bit weird, but the core gameplay loop is still there. It's probably not aged as well as I remember, but it's still a great game. And when the chapter ends, you're like, yeah, the music kicks in and it's still got that vibe that it had when it was original. If you've never played it before and understand that it's an older game, I think you're going to have a great time with it. Like, genuinely brilliant. It's fun.
Okay.
Nothing too difficult about the game either. It just literally flows through. What I enjoyed about it most originally was the fact it was just a good way to experience an interesting story. Finished it on 360. I have every intention of finishing it here. I don't even think it's a long game. I think it's like 8 hours and you popped out the other end done. So it's still got what it takes. It's a shame they couldn't have done a little bit more with it. Like I say, the jumping mechanic feels a bit broken, and sometimes you have to jump and then climb up things, and it doesn't feel right. It feels like you're kind of breaking the game a bit. It's like, should I be here? Because it kind of feels like I'm glitching out the area, because it doesn't seem like this was an obvious way over, but it is, and it is the way to play, and then everything works out fine. I think the thing to remember really is just follow the points of light. This is where they're trying to lead you. And there was a section I was playing where I was in a wood, but the placement of objects and other things like a fallen tree kind of turned me left, and then something else happened, it turned me left. And before I knew it, I was right where I needed to be. So, yeah, great game.
What can fans expect to pick that up for? I believe it's like
£25. Yeah. So
nice.
It's right in the budget for a fair priced re-release or a remaster. Could they have done more? Yeah. Should they have done more? Possibly. Absolutely fantastic game. Really good. That probably not many people got to play because it was a bit of a niche title on 360 and it was an exclusive locked on a system. I think the PC got a variant of it, but I think that it deserved more love. But then again, I'm overly invested in the Alan Wake world. Other than that, played a little bit of Ghostbusters on PSP.
Oh, what's that like? Is that like the main console version?
It's the main console version, but sadly done with the Wii graphics, which are the cartoon version. It's missing some of the fanfare and the effects that really pulled me in. I've only played it on PS3 and 360.
I feel like I should really play the game.
Have you not played it?
No.
Oh, mate, there's a remastered version. They remastered it for PlayStation 4. I didn't think it needed it. I played it around that time or just before on PlayStation 3. Thoroughly enjoyed it. We played it back in the day on 360 from memory. Apart from a slightly glitched penultimate level, I think the game is absolutely superb. Actually, that's strong, isn't it? It's above average.
It keeps occasionally being in the sale, so I think with the hype of the new film, that'll do me. That'll be enough.
Look, if the cast are willing to go on record and say we think this is the third Ghostbusters film, this completes the trilogy. If it's good enough for them, it should be good enough for you. If you like the film, the opportunity just to walk around the inside of the fire station is mate, I found out some really disturbing things about Ghostbusters that will I don't know. You ready for this?
Yeah.
obviously
no spoilers, actually.
No, there's no spoilers. No spoilers. It's not about the new film. It's about the original. And it's about filming locations. And when I found this out, I refused to believe it. All the exterior scenes are shot in New York. Absolute fact. Did you know the inside of the library was actually filmed in the inside of the LA library?
Oh, really?
The interior of the Ghostbusters set was filmed on a street in LA where they had built a replica and just used it for the interior scenes. So they're not in.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Really weird. Obviously, a load of film stuff gets done in LA. They probably all live on that side of America, so it made sense to maybe do the location shoot in New York, wrap that, move back to LA for the post-production and interior set work involving these locations. Job done. But it's so well put together, and this is movie magic all over. It was kind of like my whole life, I just believed that was the interior of the New York Library.
Yeah.
Now I know it's not. I feel like I've been lied to, and that's not a good feeling. If the fans want to know what it feels like to get lied to, Tom, guess what? It's the news. We've scoured the very darkest regions of the internet to bring you the latest stories. First up. Okay, I'll take this one.
Okay, yeah.
Nintendo lets someone else play with your toys. The legendary game designer Sqaud51, who's just wrapped up work on No More Heroes 3 for the Switch, has once again admitted how cool it would be to collaborate with a company like Nintendo and reboot or remake some of its older IP. Here's exactly what he said during an interview over with the guys at VGC. He said it'd be really cool to be able to work on a reboot or remake of some of the old Nintendo IPs that have been around for a while, especially some of the ones that have been dormant for a long time. If I'm going to do something really surprise all the gamers out there, then I'd like to do it together with Nintendo. As exciting as it all sounds, right now, there's nothing currently planned between the two parties. Again, he said, I don't have any concrete plans at the moment, but of course, I'm always open to collaboration with Nintendo. He had an interview in Nintendo Life last month, and we reported that as well. And he said he'd love to revive a lesser-known Nintendo classic, making reference at the time to the mysterious Murasame Castle. That's a game I've always thought about that I could make any Nintendo IP in the way I wanted. It's called Nazo no Murasajo, the mysterious Murasame Castle. This was a game from Human, the company. He said he first started out before Grasshopper. I've always kind of had a soft spot for this game and always felt I'd love to go back and revisit. A summary of the above-mentioned game, which sort of explains why Sqaud thinks it would be a good fit for Grasshopper. The mysterious Murasame Castle, a literal translation of its original Japanese title, Noza no Murasame Yu, puts you in the shoes of Takamura, a samurai apprentice who has to defeat both an alien creature that has taken over the titular castle and the daimos of the neighboring castles that were corrupted by said alien's power. Do you know, if you want a game synopsis, keep it simple, Sqaud. Keep it simple. If Sqaud could work on any Nintendo game, though, Zelda probably be number one, but deep down he knows it wouldn't be okay for him to make a Zelda game. Thoughts on Nintendo collaborating on an ad hoc basis with game designers that have proven themselves to a certain level, or directors? To say, because it's kind of like a film franchise, isn't it? If Spielberg rocked up at Disney's door and said, I want to make a Star Wars film, they were like, here's the keys. Here's the keys. And I'd like to think that if Sqaud came along, or Yu Suzuki pulled off these retirement straps, or any one of the big legendary names that don't already work with Nintendo, decided to knock on their door and say, I would love to have a go at recreating this legendary game franchise. Kid Icarus, if you don't mind me saying, that 3DS game doesn't count. It doesn't count, Tom.
Mate, that is a brilliant game, and I was going to use that as an example of like how to revive an old IP. It is a brilliant game. Suffers a little bit from the controls. I got used to them, but yeah, Sakura made or is the head developer of the Super Smash Bros. Series. That was a similar situation where they obviously gave him free reign to go do that, and I really enjoy it as a game. I think it's a shame it didn't get a remaster, because I think with 2 analog sticks it would really be a great title.
I thought they kind of released a patch for that when the second analog stick came as that strange bolt-on option for the 3DS.
Yeah, I did have that, but it never really felt quite as good as a proper controller. One of the problems of the 3DS, really. But again, I think I don't know what I'd like to see them collaborate on, really. They could do a balloon flight game again, but make it edit. I think you can make something quite fun and arcadey.
Dude,
like
they
that.
could listen. There's so much they could do. There's all the Game and Watch franchises of Left 4 Dead. I would rather see a legendary game designer have a go at Donkey Kong than us get another rehash of what we've had before. You know, is it that much to ask? Really? I mean, they could even rework Duck Hunt if they wanted to.
I think they're protective of the bigger titles like Donkey Kong, Zelda, Mario, Metroid. I think some of the more obscure ones are probably going to be the ones they allow to be tackled by a developer, even if they are a well-known, successful one. But yeah, that'd be interesting to see, and it's probably going to happen because they have a good working relationship, which we've seen with No More Heroes 1, 2, and now 3. So yeah, that's exciting. I think long way off, but yeah, it'd be good to see Nintendo do that a little bit more.
Okay, well, next bit of news. Now,
yeah, I'll take this.
Don't screw this up because this is my favourite quote from Uncharted.
You say the title then. You say the title.
Stranger's trying to kill me proper. Left my map in a burning plane. Alina is missing. Most probably dead.
Not bad. Where's Tom Holland's got some competition.
Luckily for him, the film's in the can. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, very lucky. Everyone, the time has finally come. The Uncharted movie trailer is here. It feels like we've all been talking about this project for an eternity. But right now, here in October 2021, the Uncharted movie is a reality. It's coming to cinemas on the 11th of February 2022 in the UK. It's pretty soon. And 18th of Feb 2022 in the US. You know what? The trailer's actually pretty good. We're not entirely sold on everything just yet. However, we love Tom Holland. His portrayal of Nathan Drake perhaps comes across as a bit too innocent here. And the total absence of Sully's stash. Stash is still very frustrating. But at the end of the day, this movie's trying to do its own thing, and we're willing to give it a chance off the back of the solid-looking footage.
Yeah, there was bits in that I could pinpoint from all three of the trilogy of PS3 games. Like there's a section where in the trailers, there's no spoilers here, where he's hanging on to some luggage that's some cargo that's kind of held in a cargo net as he comes awake. He realizes he's dangling out the back of this plane and practically nearly, seconds away from death, which I thought was cool. Some other bits in there. They're obviously deciding to do their own thing with the game's lore. If they ever made a movie of this show, the lore would just be gone, And it looks like they didn't want to be beholden to the lore, I suppose, when they made this film. And sometimes does that hold a film back? Yeah. It's sometimes creating their own new lore. Does that make the film really strange? Mario Brothers? Yes, it does. But there you go. Have you seen the trailer, Tom?
I have, yeah. I watched it just before the show just to, because I knew we were going to be discussing it. I think it reminded me of an early 2000s film adaptation. I don't think I'll go see it, but I'm excited for fans of Uncharted that they're finally getting a film because it probably will translate well onto screen, but it doesn't mean it's going to be a great film. I'm not a fan of Mark Wahlberg being Sully either. They should have gone older.
I don't know. When I saw him in it, I thought, he looks like Sully. The lack of the tash is a bit annoying. And I've seen some people on the internet remark about, this is younger. And again, they use the game as a reference. And I kind of feel like they've bought the premise. They've done a script. You should probably understand this is never going to be a recreation of the game. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. We'll find out February. Last bit of news. This is sus. we've been waiting on a release date for Among Us with Xbox Games Pass for a while, and now we've finally got it as the game's been confirmed as heading to Xbox One, Series X, and Series S on December 14th. The widely popular online multiplayer social deduction game has been available for the PC version of Xbox Games Pass since December 2020, but this marks the first time it'll have made its way to the console. Better yet, the game will support cross-play on PlayStation devices. Yes, it's coming to PlayStation 2, which supposedly means you'll be able to play with friends and strangers across all platforms when the game arrives on Games Pass for console this December. Now, it's free on Games Pass, but if you want to play it on any other device, you're going to have to put down some cash. Because in addition, 3 special editions of the game are going to be available to pre-order right now through Maximum Game Store, which are the Crewmate Edition, Imposter Edition, and the Ejected Edition, with loads of extra goodies. Among Us kind of passed me by a little bit, Tom, but are you going to
same with me.
Get in on that or not?
It looks really intriguing. If I had Games Pass, I'd probably give it a try, but I'm not going to throw money down for it. Obviously, that release date, it's probably not going to be a free game on PlayStation because it's in the middle of the month. But yeah, I don't know. I'll wait. I'll pass on that at the minute. But yeah, okay. For those who have been waiting, that's good news.
Well, I think there's loads of people that have been playing it on their phones, I believe, and all that other stuff. So at least that's what I've seen. I think my kids have played it. It looks fun. It's probably not my cup of tea, but
it's nice to see a new idea, isn't it? Like a fresh multiplayer idea that's very different.
Well, it's found its way into Fortnite now. They've got a version of it,
really?
haven't they? Yeah, they have.
Of course.
I'm sure the Among Us, Battle Royale got spread around like Marge on a catering sandwich, probably about less than 2 microns thick. So why can't Among Us get spread around till it's thin as a 2 micron spread of Marge? What happens nowadays, Tom? You have a good idea and it gets pumped until it's dead. I've got a question.
That's true.
Did we miss anything, or do you have an opinion or take on the news we missed? If so, Tom, how would the collected masses get in contact with us?
You can email us on questions@unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com. You can reach us on Instagram or Twitter via direct message. And also you can join our Discord chat.
Excellent. This weekly feature you talk of, we put that up on Twitter and Instagram, and we asked them to go comment. Easy. Get yourself on air, no stress. And if you want us to pump your Insta page or whatever, get us on Insta. If you want us to pump your Twitter profile, put your comments on Twitter. Simple. All right? Simple. And then come join the family in the Discord. You couldn't ask for more. The Discord's got places for you to promo your own activities, be it a stream or show of your own or whatever. It's obviously got a general nonsense area where you can all just chat with yourselves about games, life, the universe, and everything. There's a play-along area where we pick a game of the month and play along together. There's Listeners Stingray, as we call it, where people kind of show their pickups for the week. There's the What You've Been Playing, all based around the different themes in the show. But once you're there, you'll find it super easy to navigate. And I guarantee you one thing. You'll probably be 30 minutes in and find that new best friend you always never knew you wanted, but kind of did. With that done, Tom, we should probably crawl like wounded dogs into the feature.
Yes.
Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights. As always, we ask you guys for your thoughts on the topic and have interwoven those into the feature. Desperate for details about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, Rocksteady's next AAA offering? Well, you've come to the right place. The upcoming game was first announced at the DC Fandom presentation in 2020. That's when we learned that it's set in the Arkhamverse Metropolis and will give players the choice between playing solo or with up to 4 players via online co-op. There'll be 4 playable characters to choose from, each with their own unique moveset and enhanced traversal abilities. Harley Quinn, a.k.a. Dr. Harleen Quinzel, Deadshot, a.k.a. Floyd Lawton, King Shark, a.k.a. Nanu, and Captain Boomerang, George Digger Harkness. Should have done the Australian voice for him, really, but I chose not to. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is scheduled to release in 2022, the same year as WB Montreal's Gotham Knights. So it's safe to say 2022 is a big year for DC fans. When does it launch? when it does launch. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League will be available on PS5, Series X, and PC. Now, second trailer piqued my interest for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. It's an awfully long name. Maybe we'll just call it Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I think that.
But the trailer at this year's DC Fandom, for me, screamed next-gen experience. We talked about this last week in the live show. And I said, oh, well, maybe Xbox are going to get the first Sqaud with the first real true, like, wow, this is next-gen experience. But they could be gazumped by this, which, again, is multi-format. But my goodness gracious me, it looks slick. And the character models look great.
They've managed to keep that, like, Arkham universe, which they said it is set in the same world as that, which we saw with the Penguin, who was towards the end of the trailer. We're like, well, that is the one from Arkham. So that's great. They've kind of kept that art style because it's not full on like ultra realistic, but it's just got this real nice style.
Yeah, I think it managed to capture everything that people wanted from a Batman game and Gotham and basically encapsulated that in there. At the same time, they were creating, witithout realizing, the Arkhamverse, because obviously those characters intertwine, don't they?
How do you feel like this world is going to look? Because obviously Arkham and then Gotham, parts of Gotham City in the previous games are very like well known. There's iconic landmarks. There's a very certain style to it. This is Metropolis, I believe, isn't it? But are we just going to see a generic sort of rundown city that's been trashed by the invasion and the Justice League gone bad, or do you think it'll be?
No. I think there's going to be areas that we recognise, and maybe there's an end game section as well where everything's okay, or maybe we get to play as, because don't forget, this game allegedly came about because they've been working on a Superman game, couldn't make it work, decided to do this. Does that mean that we're able to play as Superman at the end? I don't know.
I don't know. I think you're more chance probably of getting other Suicide Squad characters. You know what I'd really love is for them to have a couple of hidden characters who are only available through completing the game, old school style. Just play the game. You get a couple of extra characters at the end. That'd be great.
It's not 1999 anymore, friend. It's 2021.
I know.
And there's no way a board are going to be like, oh, you give that away for free? Well, this guy says he can charge $15.99 for that download skin pack.
Yeah.
Why do you want to give it away for free? Is the game not already cheap enough? It's strange. The consumer these days just seems to have to pay for everything 3 times.
Do you know one of the best things we've just read about this game?
What's
that? Talking about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League will be available to play on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. That is all. That is all.
Well, that's
no previous
why.
Gen.
Exactly. That's why I feel this is, and it looked it as well. It looked it in the trailers, everything we've seen about it, even the previous set of trailers that we had. It looks like a next gen game, and a year in, possibly more at that point, we deserve it. We deserve it.
Yeah. Agreed. I think good to. I think midway through 2022, end of 2022, we'll probably start getting more and more of those sort of games. Fingers crossed.
Well, as for the aforementioned Gotham Knights, the highly anticipated game from WB Games Montreal, the developer behind Batman Arkham Origin, after delays, Arkham Origins, by the way, the more I lament on it, the more I think about it, the more this is gonna upset you, the more I think it's the best Arkham game.
But it's not set in that world though, so which is confusing because Origins.
Yeah, Batman Arkham Origins. The one
My
set at
bad,
Christmas.
sorry, I thought you were saying about Gotham Knights being set in the...
No.
I think the boss battles are the best ones in that series of games, but that's about as far as I go.
Okay.
I think Night is the best. Me.
The fact that this isn't in the Arkhamverse blows my mind. After delays, the game's now expected to land in 2022, and as that date edges closer, we're slowly finding out more about what Gotham Knights has to offer. What we know so far is that Gotham Knights will take players to a dynamic and interactive open-world Gotham City, where they'll be able to step in the shoes of Batgirl, a.k.a. Barbara Gordon, Robin, a.k.a. Tim Drake, Nightwing, a.k.a. Dick Grayson, and Red Hood, otherwise known as Jason Todd, all of whom must work together to stop the city descending into chaos following the apparent death of Batman. Gotham Knights is a game designed with co-op play in mind, but it's completely up to you whether you play on your own or team up with a friend. Regardless of what you choose, you'll be able to seamlessly switch between the four main characters and use their individual powers and abilities as you control Gotham's 5 distinct boroughs and stop criminals. At this year's DC Fandom, a new trailer dropped, which reveals a little more about the story behind Gotham Knights. We know it will feature the Court of Owls, an organized crime group meets secret society composed of rich people of Gotham. We're going to probably take some time to talk about what we think Gotham Knights is going to be before we head into the listeners' thoughts. Now, you say this game is not based in the Arkhamverse, yet it looks exactly the same as the Arkham games.
It's crazy, isn't it?
The character, the designs for Robin, the designs for Batgirl, the location of Batgirl's hideout, the look of the city, Mr. Freeze that I think we saw in the 2020 trailer at the DC Fandom.
Yeah.
All look like they've stepped out the Arkham games.
Yeah,
every single last
that
one
Batman's
of them.
dead in this one, or supposedly dead.
Supposedly.
Oh yeah, of course he's going to be playable by
he might be off in the Justice League or whatever on a secret mission where they have to act like they've gone crazy.
Mate, they could have just had a little Easter egg nods just to keep it. I know it's probably the latest thing is to be like a universe of things, of like these all have to be in the same universe. They don't really, but when you're making it look that much like those, why not just do it? It's the same company. Well, it's the same license, is what I'm trying to say.
But the thing is, it is though, isn't it? I mean, it's collated up under the same thing. Who at WB Games signed off on, what? Is this going to be part of the Arkham game? No. But you made an Arkham game. Yeah, we did, yeah. But we want to do a totally new thing. With all the characters. Yeah. Where are your drawings? Are we going to use the drawings from the Arkham games? But it's not set in the Arkhamverse. No. Fine. Green light. Go ahead. Like, what was going on that day?
Yeah.
What on earth was happening? Well, whatever. It's horses for courses. I personally, last year I was unsure what to make of these two games. I was a bit sort of tapped out. Like Gotham Knights over the time has probably interested me more. The trailer this year for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League pulled me right back in and opened my eyes to what that game could be. Gotham Knights, I don't know, always kind of piqued my interest, and I'm still actually reasonably excited to see that game arrive. The only slight sidewinder is the fact that it's not in the Arkhamverse. Other than that, everything else about it looks gravy. Few comments, just a small amount of comments this week. Batmull's been in touch. She said was already interested, but both of these trailers look great. Now I'm really excited for them. Love the Arkham games. Some more proper DC games is something I can definitely get on board with. Who else has been in touch?
C Plus Skin, as always. He's popped in and said, sorry I'm a bit late. Oh no, I'll keep it quick. Just to get to the point, both Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights look good conceptually. First off, with Gotham Knights, it's no surprise that me and many others, when we first heard of the plot for the game, would be a continuation of the ending of Arkham Knight. Yeah, this is what we're sort of saying. Is it a fresh take on him not being around, or is it following on from Arkham Knight? It's a strange sort of premise. That might not be the cause, but the idea of co-op-centric multiplayer games focusing on the main players from the Bat family still lends itself to a pretty great concept. Same with the Suicide Squad and how it's finding a new angle to bring us back into the Arkhamverse once more. Good point. My concerns for now, however, are two pretty big ones. First, barely any gameplay. Gotham Knights get some leeway because they showed off snippets of the core combat with RPG elements. But really, all you needed was Arkham-style game without Batman and featuring co-op would have been enough. Suicide Squad, by comparison, for a game that must have existed for at least 4 years at this stage and having no unedited gameplay since its reveal, doesn't have an excuse by comparison. Secondly, Warner Brother Games. The last of theirs I played was Mortal Kombat 11, which was littered with elements of microtransactions and DLC that often took more focus than the game itself. See the consumables in Towers of Time, buying cosmetics for the cast. This problem has become a stable with all Warner Brothers titles for a while, and with a focus on online co-op and RPG gameplay with both titles, can't shake the feeling that this company's track record will prove the death of these games early on. Hope I'm proven wrong, but I really doubt that I am at this point.
You know, I never really. I mean, as always from C. Pliskin, great comment, and I hadn't really thought about this. Now, let's go back and address the first part of his comment in a moment. The second part of his comment heightens my concern for the Harry Potter game.
Yes. Yeah. Pay 10 gold to get Potter's golden stick.
Or whatever it is. Let's hope the parts of the game aren't sectioned off like, oh, Harry, it's time for you to attend potions class with Snape. You get down there and it's like, entry's barred unless you pay 10 Warner Brothers coins. Oh, no. How many have I got? 2. How much is another 8? I can't buy 8. I've got to buy 15, and that's £25. Oh, hang on. If I pay 30, though, I get a couple of new skins.
Yeah. 30.
Like, no, don't you even dare. Back to his original comment, he's as confused and concerned as we are that one game's in the Arkhamverse and the other one's not. Is it continuing on from the end of... Who knows at this point, Pliskin? Who knows? I kind of hoped that they would be executing it with a little bit more class and elegance, but based on the second paragraph of his, it doesn't look like Warner Brother Games have any class or elegance. So
it's interesting what he says about the gameplay or lack of gameplay. I think we need to remember the Suicide Squad trailer was in-game graphics, and potentially a lot of the stuff we saw was in-game cutscenes. So it's a little bit reassuring with that, but I know what fans mean when they say, I want to see what it looks like with the hood and actually someone playing it and see how it plays, what we actually do and so forth.
Yeah, agreed.
From my understanding, I believe it's more of like a third person. There's more shooting elements in this and weapons rather than sort of hand-to-hand combat like the Batman Arkham games are.
Would make sense, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah. Because, but I love the idea in the trailer that we're probably going to get, like, I don't know, potentially 6 or 7 big boss battles with the Justice League, and they can make those feel so different because of the different powers of those heroes gone bad, essentially. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they tackle those, and especially with the dynamic that a lot of those heroes are invulnerable to a lot of things. So
I just feel like I don't quite know how I'm going to feel taking down these heroes.
I mean, if this, let's forget Gotham Knights for a minute and we focus on the Batman car that we saw in Suicide Squad. Is this Suicide Squad set after Arkham Knight? So is this going to be Batman like reborn as, I don't know, Damian Wayne in the Batman suit or something? Is it going to go that far forward, or are they just going to have it as a different time period in that world? Maybe
is it like a prequel? Has it already happened?
Yes, possibly. I think the Batman in Arkham Asylum is probably old enough to do it as a prequel to that.
Well, it could be between Asylum and there's a gap between Asylum and City, isn't there?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, you could have it that
I mean, spoilers,
there are-
but you could have him actually struggling with losing his mind, if that makes sense, without revealing too much.
Yeah, that'd be quite cool.
Wouldn't it? Are you all right? And he's like, and he's kind of like verging between like himself and someone
the other
else.
character,
And,
yeah, I think that's quite a cool idea.
That might be something that kind of throws the Suicide Squad off when they meet him. Like, well hang on a minute, this guy's like us. Like, what's changed? And then he changes, gets a grip of himself, and he becomes the Bat again. Or it was always hard to know in the Arkham games what was being witnessed by the others, because obviously in the original Arkham game, there's quite a lot of the Scarecrow stuff going on.
Yeah.
That's totally separate from the plot point we were talking about. But the scenes in that where you see stuff because you've been exposed to the gas and you suddenly don't know what's real and what's not. But for a third party, for us, it was super confusing. Imagine what it must have looked like to a third party to see Batman, like, crawling around, crying and feeling like he's seeing his parents in a morgue, and that Scarecrow's 80 foot tall, and the whole place has fallen down. He must have been running around the interior of the normal asylum at that time, just looking confused. So there's all sorts of things they could do with that. Like,
that'd be real cool.
A third party stance view of Batman on the edge. Like, oh crikey, are you all right? That would be.
Yeah.
It depends where they set it, how they set it, and what they do with it. But it's got my attention. I agree with yourself and Mr. Pliskin that it would be nice to have seen just some this is how you play Suicide Squad. Anyone that's excited about this game, look at this quick 5 seconds of action to understand exactly what it is you're going to get served up next year. Because at the moment, I think
it's important to remember that Rocksteady are like a massive developer in terms of quality.
Well, you say that, but their actual they've been very good with what they've made, but their actual back catalogue doesn't. What have they made? They made that game on PlayStation 2. Oh God, what's it called? It's the one where you've got the riot shield. It's the first time where I've forgotten the name of a game. Anyway, I'm sure the fans will let me know. It doesn't happen very often. They made that, then they went straight into Arkham Asylum from memory, then they went straight into the follow-up, and then they went straight into the third game in the trilogy. Then they went off to make allegedly a Superman game. So really, please write in and correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I'm aware, they've made about 4/4.5 games if you include the PSVR adaptation, which was great and set in the Arkhamverse. If you're still looking for a little bit more of that and you've never played it, you would thoroughly enjoy it. It's probably half-hour experience from beginning to end. There is replay, but it is still fantastic. And what it does with VR is really quite inventive and clever at the end. So they haven't made that many games. So one has to wonder, maybe, did they ride the success of Batman? Was there that much innovation in Batman after they made that really cracking game in Arkham Asylum? Or am I being harsh on them?
No, I think they've explained that. It highlights some good points, because it's similar to CD Projekt Red in the fact that they made The Witcher 3.
Developed. Urban Chaos was the name, right? Response. I've just Googled it just to put everyone's minds at ease. And they did only make 2006 Urban Chaos Right Response was on PS2. I didn't realize it got an Xbox release. 2009 Batman Arkham Asylum, 2011 Batman Arkham City, 2015 Batman Arkham Knight, 2016 they did make that VR game that I talked of themselves, totally in-house. I think that was a clear-up job before they wiped the decks clean to start the alleged Superman game that became Suicide Squad. Maybe there never was a Superman game, but Suicide Squad set to launch in 2022. Really, games made, not that many. Age of the Studio, 2004. 16 years.
That's not loads.
No. So when people say to me, oh, wow, they're a hallmark of quality, I sometimes think, well, are they?
I think
really?
If you classed a trilogy as enough games, they are. Those 3 Batman games are very high quality. I will remind people though, when Arkham Knight came to PC, it was an absolute disaster, wasn't it? If you remember,
Yeah.
the port was like, I think they offered refunds eventually, but I'm not quite sure who's responsible for that. So we'll not discuss it too much.
One thing I would say is urban chaos riot response. If you get the chance to play it, do you know what it is? I'm not saying Rocksteady are rubbish. I'm just saying they've not made that many games comparatively compared to games other people have made. Urban Chaos Riot Response. What's strange about that game is it almost looks like it's been drawn by the same guy who it probably was, but drew the Arkham Asylum. You know, that rough, gritty look to the effect, to the screen? That exists in Urban Chaos Riot Response. A lot of the fonts you see in the game look like they've been lifted straight from Batman. Whereas actually Batman's obviously been lifted from Urban Chaos Riot Response. Urban Chaos Riot Response is a pretty fun game. You wouldn't like it, Tom, because it's old, but there you go. Sorry, I got distracted. Let's hear for a last comment this week. It's Comic Picture 79. I'm hyped to bits for Gotham Knights. The Batgirl DLC in Arkham Knight was excellent, so I'll have more of that, please. I'm really keen to test out the untethered co-op. Reckon that'll be ace. Call for support and in swoops Nightwing. Nice. I've only just learned that Suicide Squad is 4-player coupe as well, so now I'm excited for that too. There's a man that's easily satisfied, but a man with high taste indeed. So if he says he's excited, you should be too. Someone who's excited this week, Tom, the mighty Ray, high off the back of last week's success in his mind of the live stream, his thought that possibly he now had a gig providing all the materials, in-house stuff, the cameras, the mics and everything. Now, obviously, we've employed the outside company to come in and make us look slick for a week. What's Ray been up to?
Well, he's had to go into hiding a little bit after his first on-screen appearance, even though it was only his hands. Those hands are very
saw an arm. Apparently, Bo Baloba got in touch and said he basically just watched a video player eject videos, and I pulled them out the video each time. Mike Rouse got in touch to say, like, what's my granddad doing there? And Harvey Retro said, like, all I saw was a denimed arm. Yet other people saw a black-sleeved arm. I don't know what's going on, but what I know is it's time for a peek in what we affectionately call Stingray's boot, what's nestled between some counterfeit naps and a dodgy copy of Battle for End all this week. These are the new release highlights for the week October 18th to October 24th, 2021. Listeners, these are out on digital or physical, or will be by the time this podcast in your feed, but could be region dependent. Spring sale stock. Wow. Whoa. I know you like that. I do it every week because it puts a smile on your face. And I like to see a smile on your face, you handsome little devil.
Thank you very much. Next up, we've got Nuclear Blaze PC.
I actually thought this was going to be your mummy.
I think it will be because I can't think of anything else. I've just had a quick look through and it doesn't look exciting.
Okay.
Nuclear Blaze is a new, unique 2D firefighting game.
A firelighting game. Gather around and rub your sticks, light your firelighters, grab your magnifying glasses. No.
That's basically like when all of the Ray Mears Cub Scout group came to Ponsonbury Manor.
Is it a firefighting game or is it a firefighting game? Because I'm confused.
It's a 2D firefighting game from the creator of Dead
That would
Cells.
actually be about from the creator of Dead Cells. Now that makes it amazing to start with, but this is about.
I'm a big fan of Dead Cells. So
is this about the fourth week that we've had a firefighting game in the boot?
I think it is.
It is. This one's got props because it's made by the Dead Cells guy. But whatever. I don't think we need to read any more out. I think it just needs to be.
I actually am genuinely going to go and have a look at that. Apart from it's only on PC.
Correct.
Gutted. Oh dear.
How do you feel?
No, time to get my Steam Deck.
Yeah. Steaming pile of deck. That's going to be an absolute disaster zone, and you know it is. When the company
it's
says,
on record now. You're on record, so we will revisit that comment.
Good.
When it's sold 3 editions. No, I hope it does well because I think it looks quite cool. But I think it's very targeted at the already PC market.
Dude, was it last week or the week before where I was like, you know, you said something about, oh, no one no one bats an eyelid at someone playing Candy Crush on their phone, but someone pulls out a
yeah.
Switch and everybody
We did
loses
last
their
week.
mind. Right, okay, let's use my example. You're sat at a cafe playing Candy Crush or whatever. No one bats an eyelid. You pull out a TV with 2 Joy-Cons either side, and someone's like, that's a bit weird. What are you doing? And he's playing a game, okay, whatever. Someone pulls out the Odeon with 2 Joy-Cons either side. You're going to look like a complete weirdo.
Yeah.
Well, what's that? Steam Deck. Can you leave me alone to play on it, please? What's that? Is that Nintendo? No, it's Steam Deck. What's that? Don't worry about it. No, it's a disaster. Dying Light, and when did a PC gamer ever leave his back room? When did a PC gamer ever leave his mom's basement? No.
Oof. We're going to get Mardy PC.
Come at me in the Discord. If you're a PC gamer, I've just upset you. Join the Discord with the only sole purpose in mind in personally messaging me and calling me out for my hypocrisy. Do it. Do it. Dying Light Platinum Edition on the Switch, October 19th. First-person action survival game set in post-apocalyptic whatever. It's an open world overrun by flesh-hungry zombies. Roma City devastated by a mysterious virus epidemic. Scavenge supplies, craft weapons, and face hordes of the infected. They've done it again. They've got a game that deserves no right at all. Not one bit to be on the Switch. And they made it look all right. So, yeah. Fair play. What's up next out the mighty Ray's boot?
War Mongrels. That sounds like a video he would have had legit back in the day. War Mongrels, PC, October 19th. War Mongrels is an isometric real-time tactics game that takes place on the Eastern Front of World War II.
If only you had that 2 episodes ago. You ever played any other real-time War Mongrels? Fair play.
Project Steam was the game I couldn't think of the other week. That was
Project
available.
Steam Deck?
No, just Project Steam.
Okay. Yeah.
Was the turn-based game on the 3DS. Anyway, set on the Eastern Front in World War II, dynamic and tactical gameplay with stealth elements, tightly packed into a dark, fascinating story. Play on your own or in online co-op.
Wow.
Next up,
you can really move. This might be my mummy. YouTuber's Life 2, PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, October 19th. I can recommend the original game because it's very affordable. This game is damn near $40.
What?
And seems more restrictive than the original. Become the best YouTuber in the world. Collaborate with legendary celebrities. Yes, there's real YouTubers in the game. Not real, but versions of themselves, NPC versions of themselves. Explore the City of Fame. Find out hidden stories and follow trends to create viral content. Live the life of an emerging superstar. Fame, fortune, and fans are awaiting for you.
Next up, we've got Healing Spree PC, October 20th. A lot of PC games this week. Healing Spree is a tongue-in-cheek hospital simulator featuring co-op for up to 4 players. Players' doctors on call to diagnose, help, and treat as many patients as humanly possible while maintaining your sanity and friendships.
One thing I would say, because I always include so many PC games in the boot, what reason would they have? Not even PC-centric shows give them an update this in-depth about what's coming out for their chosen system. We're good guys. We're good guys. Up next, Jars PC Switch, October 20th. Still come at me in the Discord if you want to fight. Jars is a strategy game featuring puzzle elements of tower defense. Join Victor in his spooky yet endearing world and prepare for a quest to uncover the secrets of his family's basement. Will you save the world or get grounded by Mumsy?
They will be October 20th.
You're going to have to say that again because you sound... We're having issues. We're having issues with you here. Are you there?
They always run. PC, can you hear me?
We can now. You turned into a robot. I don't know what's going on.
Hello?
I'll do this one.
Okay.
They always run PC October 20th. Become Aiden, a 3-armed mutant who Is this for real? Who hunts the most dangerous bounties in the galaxy. Catch, slice, dice, and destroy enemies in this exciting 2D platformer with a space western setting. Are you back with us, Tom?
Hopefully so, if you can hear me.
Yes.
Grobot on the PC, October 21st, an adventure about a robot saving her home from the dark crystalline force, set upon a biopunk space station, with fantastic plants and aliens.
This probably should be someone's mummy.
You don't need to read this out, though, other than it's VR.
Right, you're banned from talking on this podcast because you sound.
I don't know anyone who's not played it.
You sound drunk.
Okay.
You got to move nearer to your router or whatever the Americans call them. I don't know what's going on. Resident Evil 4 VR on the Oculus VR. As Tom says, you know the shtick by now. If you haven't played it already, what's wrong with you? You call yourself a gamer. You're no longer a gamer. The good news is it's out on VR, so you get to experience that game all over again, but in first person, literally. I can't imagine a more interesting way to spend your October. Up next, Sands of Aura PC, Dungeon Encounters. It's October 21st. Dungeon Encounters is a unique... I've done it to myself again. I said I wouldn't do it again, and I've done it. Leaves in a readout from the week before. Dark Pictures Anthology, House of Ashes, PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, October 20th, 22nd, and Xbox Series X. This sounds great, actually. At the close of the Iraq War, Special Forces hunting for weapons of mass destruction unearth something far deadlier, a buried Sumerian temple containing a nest of unearthly creatures. To survive the night below, they must forge a brotherhood with their enemies from the world above. Are you back in the room, or are you just calling it now?
I just want to make sure I sound okay. You could take these last ones if it sounds rubbish still.
Okay, well, let's just run through them. Happen Lance, PC, October 22nd. Climb huge mountains, impale hundreds of enemies, and solve tricky physics puzzles, all only using a spear. Pole vault yourself to a victory in this epic joust 'em up adventure, or face your friends in online co-op and PvP multiplayer. Zombo Buster Rising. I read that right. Yes, I did. PS4 and Xbox One, October 22nd. Shoot zombies from terrace like a boss. Zombo Buster Rising Remastered brings you nostalgic experience of classic 2D side shooting defense and enhanced build right from your home console. What more could anyone ask for? With that done, the boot's
Absolutely.
down. We're holding a VHS each. What do you got?
Oh, no.
Happens every week. I don't quite know what's wrong.
Sqaud.
Goodness knows why none of your equipment's working anymore. It's a concern for me. You said Flesh Gordon, that film from under the front seat that Mumby told you could never ever watch. Well,
I'm back.
Sounds to me like you've picked Flesh Gordon. You've gone with that, and I'm going with Overboard, starring Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. Probably one of the...
It's a great film.
Have
you seen the remake? You've seen the remake?
They remade it.
In a reverse situation. And it is actually really funny.
Is Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn in it?
I think they're in it as like, what would you call it?
A cameo.
Yes, a cameo.
Interesting. Most interesting. Well, with that done, Odder's never got asked to pick anything up, so I won't ask him to put anything down. But Tom, what are you hoping to play?
I need to get something new for this week, I think. Just a little budget title would be good. See what the indie selection has to offer.
May I suggest Alan Wake?
I've played it. I don't know. I'll play it through again. It was a good game.
Honestly, mate, I'd forgotten some of the finer points. And
I'm looking more Del Boy budget of like $2.99.
Well, get yourself in the sale, because the PlayStation sale is extended far and wide, and there's some proper games on there for that sort of money.
I'll take a look.
Yeah, go for it.
How about you?
Did you mention at the top of the show that we were going to... Yeah, I got confused with the interview you said you were thinking of doing. I think we're 99% sure that we've got the mighty Mike Rouse coming back on, and I have got an interview potentially on a radio show in between now and then. So a little Easter egg. A little Easter
failing.
egg.
You're flying too close to the sun.
We've
my
got
friend.
Sir Mike Rouse, because we knighted him when he was last on for, work in the games industry. And he wants to come back on to talk about Antstream, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing where you can play games for free.
Oh, very interesting.
So if you've never heard of it, he's going to come in, give us an update on what he's up to, and then fill us in on everything Antstream. So that'll be exciting. If you wanted to broaden your horizon for absolutely £0 and absolute 0 pence, it might be an episode worth tuning in for. As for what I'm hoping to play, a little bit more Alan Wake. And I feel like I owe it to myself on my playthroughs to pop Yakuza in there and give that a run through. I think I'm worth it. And I've also got, I've kind of loosely got remote play on PS5 working on a PS4 when I'm away. But as you know, it's not quite the same.
Bit choppy.
Yeah. But, well, no, that bit was flawless. But I guess it's the, I like to play a game, surround sound, no distractions,
Agreed, yeah.
You got to be in your
experience.
you got to be in your zone, haven't you?
Yeah.
I find that when I've played games with the door open and people in and out and the lights on, I've not really bonded with the game. I have to kind of get in, get down, get some hours in on it. And then I feel like, I own this. Whereas if it's loosey-goosey at the beginning, it's loosey-goosey halfway through and you'll never finish it.
Yeah. I think when people if they're on the phone halfway through a film and you're like, did you enjoy that? And they're like, not really. Like, well, you didn't watch half of it. It's a similar principle with getting in
when that happens,
routine.
I always say to people,
Yeah.
oh, wow, did you like that? What just happened? I don't know. What did I miss? Like, why are you even here? Can't not look at that for 2 hours. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
But it's the world that we're in. Anyway,
it is.
With that all said and done, any more you got to tell us, Tom?
No, looking forward to next week's show. It's been a bit of a shorter one this week. And yeah, we'll be bringing a live stream next week. Fingers crossed.
Well, we can't give them a 4-course meal every week, can we?
We can't.
Well, with that dietary conclusion, that's all we have time for this week. Listeners, as always, thank you for your time. I look forward to the pleasure of speaking to you again next week. Until then, happy gaming. Remember, there's nothing wrong with being given the unofficial controller. It's what you do with it that counts. See you, Tom.
See ya.